With me is Kyle Kondik, author of The Bellwether, Why Ohio Picks the President, and the University of Virginia Center for Politics. Republican National Convention in Cleveland to talk about kind of where we're at this year and this week, and just see what's been going on. Kyle, what's your take so far on the convention?
Certainly it was kind of a non-traditional first night. We had the whole affair with Melania Trump and plagiarized speech and that sort of thing. And whether it really matters in the campaign or not, I do think it shows, sort of confirms that the Trump campaign is not necessarily ready for prime time in many respects, and yet actually the polls and stuff suggest that Trump is sort of hanging with Hillary Clinton when many, I think, expected that Clinton might be pulling away. So we'll have a better sense of it. The polls get a lot more predictive after the conventions. So we'll see where things are at in early August.
Where are they currently sitting right now in the polls?
So Clinton is generally up about 2, 3, 4 points in national polls. In Ohio, Clinton has a very, very narrow lead, although some polls are actually tied. And Ohio is generally very reflective of the national voting.
Well, now your new book, Bellwether, Why Ohio Picks the President, kind of looks at Ohio's role in picking the president. What can we kind of expect from kind of past being prologue here in this race?
So Ohio almost always votes for the winner. 28 of 30 times the state has voted for the winner. It's almost, the state votes very close to the national average, typically only about 2 points off of the national average in any given election. The state's typically a little bit more Republican than the nation. So I look at Ohio as a necessary but not necessarily sufficient condition for Republican victory. So Donald Trump has to win Ohio if he has to win if he has any chance of winning the election, in my opinion.
Now, is this one of those things where Trump needs Ohio, but Clinton doesn't?
So I think Clinton will compete very heavily in Ohio, but history does suggest that a Democrat has a narrow path to the White House without Ohio. That would probably involve winning most of the Midwest, like Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, states that are typically more Democratic than Ohio is. And also there are some typically Republican states that are trending Democratic, like Colorado and Virginia, that the Clinton campaign is going to be targeting, and states that may very well vote more Democratic than Ohio does this year.
What was your read on the action on the floor yesterday with the kind of the Never Trump's last gasp?
It was very reminiscent of the Ron Paul insurgency in 2012, where the Ron Paul forces were trying to insert themselves into the action, and they got kind of tossed out. That's what happened to the Never Trump folks. I think a lot of these things are pretty easily forgotten, but a convention is often you want to put on the best show you possibly can, and I'd say that there certainly were some problems yesterday between Melania Trump's speech and, I would say, maybe the kind of overly negative tenor of the first night. But ultimately, there's still plenty of time for the Trump campaign to right the ship and have a better convention.
Well, do you think they're going to come out of Cleveland with a united party?
Certainly there's still a lot of establishment resistance to Trump. But actually, amongst the grassroots, Trump is getting 80-85% of self-identified Republicans, generally speaking, which isn't bad. He needs to do better than that. I do think there's still some resistance, particularly amongst kind of wealthier, more highly educated Republicans, maybe the kinds of Republicans you find in, say, Avon Lake or Westlake, those areas in Northeast Ohio that are usually pretty good areas for Republicans, but maybe not for Trump. So that'll be a good test for the election as to how he holds up in some of those kind of typically Republican suburbs that maybe have higher incomes.
When it comes to the issue, John Kasich has not endorsed Trump. He's not expected to appear at the convention. There's been some controversy about that. Paul Manafort obviously does not appear happy with that. Trump's campaign manager. What's your read on Kasich's support? Do you think he'll actually make an endorsement? Do you think that that's going to remain? Do you think he's going to remain on the outs of the Trump campaign?
So it does not seem like Kasich is ready to endorse Trump. In fact, he's holding his own event today with apparently the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. It's so odd that here we have the governor of Ohio, and he's not even at his convention, first convention in Ohio since 1936. So it seems like Kasich isn't really going to play ball with the Trump campaign. However, I think John Kasich wants Senator Rob Portman of Ohio to get reelected, And I think that Portman needs good turnout amongst Republicans, and how do you do that? You have Trump do well. So I think that the state party and Kasich need to at least expend some resources on Trump's behalf, if only to try to save Rob Portman.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.